Okay, Chair calls Alex Ortiz with the Sierra Club. Show you neutral on the bill. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Alex Ortiz, and I'm the Water Resources Specialist for the Lone Star chapter of the Sierra Club. I'm here testifying neutral on SB28. We've outlined some of these concerns with Senator Perry's office and with Chairman King's office already. But my two primary concerns revolve around both produced water and salinity. So first, on the produced water sort of issue, the Sierra Club is a member of the Texas Produced Water Consortium, so we've been actively working with state agencies and the consortium itself to evaluate where we're at when it comes to looking at produced water as a potential source for water in the state. And the reality is that we are not anywhere near being able to understand produced water to the level of being able to treat it effectively right this second. So what that actually means is that there needs, and there's been legislation that's already been heard pertaining to potential pilot projects at the consortium itself. So what I'm sort of getting at here is that these pilot projects need to be secure in the sense that we've established standards that are sufficiently protective of human health and the environment before we decide to move forward and use state funds that could be used to bolster other parts of our water infrastructure before we actually apply them to produced water treatment that is not either proven scientifically or even necessarily economically feasible. The other sort of big point I want to talk about is salinity, and this is something that I know I brought up in the interim. There were interim hearings on desalination before this committee, and when we talk about specifically marine seawater desalination, there's sort of this concept of we still end up with water, right? We still end up with highly saline brine. So figuring out what to do with that water is a challenge. So when we talk about the disposal of that highly saline brine, more often than not, it's going to be off the coast, right? Either into the Gulf or into a bay or estuarine system. And there's substantial work that TCEQ still needs to do in order to set standards to make sure that our coastal communities and our coastal economies are insulated from those effects. And with that, I'm open for any questions.
Okay. Members, any questions? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Chair calls Jennifer Walker, Director, Texas Coast and Water Program, National Wildlife Federation, and we show you neutral on the bill.
Good morning, Chairman Thompson, members of the committee. My name is Jennifer Walker. I'm the Director of the Texas Coast and Water Program at National Wildlife Federation, testifying on the bill today. SB28 will go a long way to ensuring that Texas communities have adequate water supplies moving into the future. We appreciate Chairman Perry and Chairman King's attention to funding water loss mitigation projects in Texas, and the attention to providing technical assistance for utilities to mitigate water loss under Section 4 of the bill. Investing in water loss mitigation projects can help recover about half if utilities get on par with other average performing utilities in Texas. We can recover about half of the estimated 572,000 acre feet of water loss that we're experiencing in Texas per year. And really help that you really ensure that utilities have the resources that they need to meet those goals. So we look forward to working with Chairman King, Chairman Perry to make sure that some modifications to the Texas Water Fund section of the bill, such as broadening Section 15504 to include water conservation projects not limited to strategies for new residential construction. And also in Section 15504, we suggest not focusing only on water main breaks, but to broaden this focus to other causes of water loss within a utility system. Water loss is really complex. and water main repair is really important, but it's not the only cause of water loss. As other speakers have said, it's a complex problem. It's different in each community, but there's a lot of strategies to really get at it well. Further, in Section 4 of the bill, subsection L, we applaud the focus on tracking and suggest the following improvements. Reporting on total volume in gallons per connection per day of water loss incurred by Texas utilities. Directing the board to report on the dollars that are invested to mitigate water loss, as well as the estimated volume in gallons per connection per day of water that's being saved from those water loss mitigation projects. And clarifying that this section applies to all financial assistance provided by the board. And we suggest a regularity to this reporting. We suggested every 5 years. Water Development Board receives water loss audits and other water conservation reporting on an every 5-year basis from all water utilities in Texas. So it's not, not too often, but often enough and really backed by data that they receive from utilities. So improving tracking in this manner will help keep policymakers and the public aware of the water being lost, the steps this state is taking to address it, and how we're investing these funds and what we're getting for them. Finally, while there are many positive aspects of SB28, we're concerned with funding produced water projects outside of the oil and gas field under the New Water Supply for Texas Fund. Beneficial use of produced water needs to be studied before we can have confidence that we are safely using any of these water resources outside of the oil and gas fields. As was recognized by the Produced Water Consortium report. So therefore, we believe this fund should not be used to develop projects outside of the oil and gas industry until phase 1 and phase 2 of the pilot projects are completed. And in addition, we encourage the committee to consider additional water strategies such as reuse under the types of water that are eligible for investment under the New Water Supply for Texas Fund. We appreciate y'all's work on this and applaud the focus on shoring up Texas's water supplies and backing that up with a significant investment. And we look forward to working with you all on improvements to the bill. Thank you.